This here is the all new Osmo Action 4. I will be doing some comparisons with the GoPro 11 as well, but first, let's see some clips from this. Throughout this video, I'm going to be shooting on the Sony a7 IV and the Osmo Action 4 and the GoPro 11, and whenever something is on the screen, down here, you'll see what is being recorded, frame rates, etc. So if you ever want to know, it's down here. Tomorrow morning, I'm meeting up with Harry's from Bondi Lifeguards, which is going to be awesome. He's going to help me out, shoot some stuff with the Osmo Action 4 out surfing, which you've seen some of the clips already, but I can't wait for that. So let's do a side-by-side comparison with the GoPro 11 and the Action 4. These are both on the wider settings with no stabilization on, both on 24p. The Action 4 is at 4K and the GoPro 11 is at 5.3K because that's just how I've got it set up at the moment. Both on flat and both set at 10-bit. Now, the Action 4 is 10-bit across all settings. So whether you want it on 4K, 60, 25, 100, 120, super wide, cropped in, whatever you want on the Action 4, you can have it at 10-bit. Now, I think you'll agree that they look great. Both of them look great, but personally, my preference is leaning towards the Action 4. And I've been a GoPro user for the last 7-8 years, and that's purely based off the fact I like the D-Log that I can shoot in on the Action 4, and having that 10-bit, meaning I can color grade as I so wish, better. And because I also use DJI drones, it just marries up my footage a little bit better. However, I wanted to do a direct comparison of these two at night time between the Action 4 and the GoPro 11. Now, the Action 4 is in 4K 24 and the GoPro is in 5.3K 24 because, like I mentioned, for some reason it won't let me do it. But this is a good example. I'm shooting in D-Log on the Action 4, and on the GoPro 11 I'm shooting in flat, so I can kind of color grade it and hopefully remove some of that noise. Have all the other settings in auto just to give you the best example. I wanted to do a direct comparison as well at 4K 60. Both cameras are set to auto ISO and both on flat, and I have color graded them and not color graded them, as you can see on the screen. But I wanted to see how they both perform. I mean, typically at nighttime you're going to be shooting at 4K 24 or 4K 30 rather than 4K 60, but just as an example, this is what 4K 60 looks like at nighttime. Now, some of the key features about this camera are on the screen here, so maybe pause a screenshot if you want to have a look. Over the last 4 weeks, I've tested this camera vigorously. I've done POVs. Roxanne used it to go and do some whale watching and swim with seals, which was amazing, which you saw a clip of just now. Harry's has put it to the test, and I was first excited to use this camera because of the wider lens that it has, which means for POVs and stuff like that, I can fit more on the screen when I'm trying to showcase what I'm doing with the camera, etc, etc. I'm going to go for a bit of a ride on the Super 73, get some like slow-mo shots. I'll also do some comparisons between this and the GoPro 11. I thought it'd be a really good test if I put it in the most stable setting on the Osmo Action 4 and on the GoPro 11, and just see how it does on the mouth mount while I'm riding this Super 73. I mean, it's pretty windy, so I don't know how well this is going to cope with the audio and the wind, but it seems pretty steady. It's quite hard to hold these two things in your mouth because it's quite heavy, like on your mouth, like gripping it like that. It's pretty difficult, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, the off-road stuff is better. Just kind of jump in front of these guys. The picture that I want to talk about just before we go in is it has a dual screen. So obviously on the back you have this screen, which is fantastic. However, on this side here, you also have a screen. So if I just turn it on quickly, I'll just quickly show you that on here, if you just swipe up, you can then change all of the settings while you're facing the camera. So if you're vlogging and you want to change the setup, you literally just click on the front facing screen to change everything. Where that also comes in handy is if you've got this mounted, let's say on a car or on a person or a helmet or somewhere where basically it's on somebody else, and you as a someone part of the production team can go up to them and just on the front change the settings instead of having to like take it off and look at the back of the screen and change everything about it. So for me, that's a big plus. The Osmo Action 4 is continuing with the magnetic system as well. It works the same, but it means that if you've got this mount on multiple things, it's just nice and easy to swap them across because it saves the whole unscrewing and screwing malarkey. So I quite like that feature. The other thing as well, if you want to swap out your batteries, you have this really cool carry case, which I absolutely adore because I didn't get this with GoPro. I've obviously been with the GoPro system, as you can see, for quite some time, and I've relied on them very heavily. However, having this like battery carry case is incredibly useful, and I can see which ones are charged and ready to go. Up until now, I've had to like put the battery in or try and have different compartments to see which battery is charged, whereas now I just press the button and hey presto, I know which ones I can throw into the Osmo. Another little thing that I love about the DJI system that I didn't get with the GoPro system is the ND filters. I love that DJI do their own ND filters, whereas with the GoPros you have to go to third party, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it starts adding on expenses that don't necessarily have to be there. I do have a combo deal, but I'll link everything below for you guys to go and check out and have a look for yourselves and see whether or not it's what you would like. Being somebody that does a lot of POV content, I go out and do street photography, car photography, whatever. I have this mounted on my chest and it is smaller and lighter, and what I like is that it's more subtle, whereas the GoPro 11 is slightly bigger. I would say that the Osmo Action 4 is actually a comparable size to the Black 8, the GoPro Black 8, which I liked personally because it was smaller, whereas obviously GoPros they seem to be getting bigger and bigger and heavier, whereas the Osmo Action 4, you get a lot for a very small device, and that's something that I generally love. I did some side-by-side color comparisons, both in standard and flat mode, and then color graded, which you can see over the screen. Now, I want you to comment down below which one you prefer. Do you prefer the GoPro 11 colors or do you prefer the DJI colors? And to be honest, there's no real right answer because it's all subjective, and personally, I like the colors of the DJI. You might like the colors of the GoPro. Now, personally, I've been using the GoPros for 7, 8 years now, and they've always been okay to color grade, but I find that the DJI works better with me, and I think that's what it's all about. It's not about this is better than this, it's about the fact that what works better for you as a creator. And being that I use DJI products, like I've already mentioned, with drones, I can color grade the footage in a similar way. So therefore, I don't have that harsh difference between GoPro, DJI, and Sony footage. It's all closer together because of that log profile. On the Osmo Action 4, I just want to run through the frames per second that you can shoot at. You could do 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, 60, 100, and 120. Now, up to 120, you can have Rocksteady Plus, whereas the Horizon balancing is only up to 60 frames per second. So keep that in mind if you are wanting some mega stable footage. You can only have that up to 60 frames per second, but you can have Rocksteady, which is still really steady, up to 120, which I think is awesome. And that's what I was using for the footage that's on the screen now of Harry's surfing, which was incredible again to meet up with him, and I can't thank him enough. But I'll link Harry's below in the description. Big shout out to him for helping me out. I want to know your opinions. What do you think of the DJI Osmo Action 4 so far, from what you've seen from me and maybe what you've seen from other people? I do implore you to go and have a look at other channels because, again, I'm not a spec guy. I don't do specs and specifications, and I implore you to go over to other channels and check out other reviews on the Osmo Action 4 because they're probably going to explain it a little bit better than me. However, that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you want to go and check it out below, do so. I'll be using this in all of my POVs going forward, and I'll do a couple more videos on this as well. So if you want to subscribe, notification bell, all of that stuff, create more, stress less, and I'll see you in the next one.